Ross is my name.
What's going on? It's your boy Nick Malters 05, and I've been real busy today, but my co-host been hard at work. So just so you know, the video you are about to see is new details that were recently released, and they are very important details. So I need everybody to pay attention and listen close to this video you are about to watch. It may entail some information that might change your mind on a few things. So watch.
What I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight is some background stuff that's been going on with me, Nick, and MixSwitch. After we completed a review of Unlock Switch on Friday, we were emailed by MixSwitch and were asked to try a beta firmware of the MixSwitch on the Unlock Switch. MixSwitch, I would argue, of course, assumed that the product was fake, that there were problems with it. We didn't know exactly how they were doing this until they sent us the firmware. Or more so, sent Nick the firmware, I should say. Now, in our testing of this firmware, what we were able to conclude was that this firmware was extracting some sort of serial number from the MixSwitch. This serial number is able to identify individual units, and between my MixSwitch, Nick's MixSwitch, and Nick's Unlock Switch, I was able to confirm that each of the numbers was different. Now, they were encrypted. I don't know what the specific numbers were, but they were encrypted values that I was able to self-identify each unit. I also just did a test before the stream to confirm that this wasn't just being completely randomly generated. I used a different SD card and a different game that was being ran at the time, and was able to confirm that it looks like whatever number they're generating is per device. It's not randomly generated. It is a per device number. I'm going to read the email that MixSwitch sent. Now, this number, for the record, is put in the NX index file. That's the thing that holds your what game you're currently on, and that holds the firmware version of the card. And MixSwitch asked us to send this file after we had ran it on the Unlock Switch. So here's what they said. We gave you a beta release firmware and you tried it on the Unlock Switch. The NX index file it produces gives us an irrefutable evidence the so-called Unlock Switch chip IC is actually a MixSwitch chip IC. On your Unlock Switch sample, they extracted the ICs from a batch from February 5th and just put them on their PCB. Your MixSwitch sample, referring to Nick's, is from December 4th. It's the very first production, so we know you did not mix up the file. We knew anyways, but the fact that you provided both is even better. Why they would do that? I guess to ask people to prepay, collect a lot of orders, and never ship. It is really an elaborate scam. Those guys went quite far to pull this off. But if you think that they can collect $300,000 or $500,000 in pre-orders and pay $0 to produce, I guess it is not that stupid if you have no remorse or respect for stealing from people who work hard for their money. We suspect a person, we have a name, but we won't say it as we are not 100% sure, and obviously we can't make a mistake. But it is the same person who scammed some of our resellers by emailing them. He found their email address from the links in our Where to Buy page, telling them we have stock from someone who canceled. Pay now and we'll ship right away. Unfortunately, a few resellers got it for being too gullible, and with the money they made, we guess they smelled there was a lot of money to make. Now we will email customers this week to warn them to not purchase or they will get scammed. After, if they don't listen, their problem, we warn them. That is what MixSwitch emailed us. I also want to add at the bottom, they said, we will give you exclusive to announce it. You can quote what we said, but please do not put words on us we did not say. All we say is the ICs on your samples are coming from a MixSwitch. We are absolutely certain, so it is just a person who put a new PCB in case and reused the MixSwitch chip on them. That is what we were given. Something I personally want to add. This is a personal message from me. You guys are smart, I know it, but I do need to make it clear that, of course, MixSwitch would have a vested interest in claiming this is fake. As much as the possibility of us being pawns to peddle a potential scam. So from a personal level, personally, I am actually fairly neutral. MigSwitch is the only people to have access to these kind of tools. But at the same time, they have their own personal vested interest. Take that for what you will. UnlockSwitch did send us a product, but we can't tell where those chips came from, and it doesn't do anything new that they claim it would do. They're saying that the people who purchase later will get the new features. We didn't get it because they wanted to get some kind of product to us. I don't know if UnlockSwitch will see this video. I don't know if this will get back to them at all. And if it does, then I guess I would like an explanation of some sort. Perhaps an explanation before anyone decides to make a purchase on this. So, okay, the UnlockSwitch board is different. How can they do this? Well, what MigSwitch seems to believe is that they just took their ICs. They bought a lot of MigSwitches, took the ICs off, reprinted the board with a bunch of UnlockSwitch branding, and then just put the chips on. So it works the exact same because it's the same PCB. It just looks different. They put a pretty case and sticker on it, and they're alleging that they're not going to deliver a product. So it's funny you asked this. What MigSwitch sent us was, in fact, a MigSwitch firmware, which I know is it's kind of an ironic statement. But the thing is, and I'll actually read an earlier email they sent, which, okay, here we go. Hello, this is so Nick sent his NX index file. They responded, thanks, it is name of the beta firmware. So update went well. I'll let the dev look and get back to you. But it's strange it updated. It shouldn't have. So I'm thinking chances are they didn't have chips outside of sourcing MigSwitches. So basically, MigSwitch has said, frankly, we suspected this from the beginning because cloning an encrypted software and chip in 2 months, even a company with millions in resources can't do it. So they admit it's encrypted, which, I mean, of course, obviously, but they admit it's encrypted. Therefore, if they created their own, if they got their own chips and created their own system, the encryption would be different. And therefore, the MigSwitch firmware wouldn't work. Therefore, the only reason that the firmware loaded, theoretically, is because it was a MigSwitch chip. Now, personally, I don't know enough about these chips, nor do I know enough about encryption in general or microcontrollers to personally say this is 100% the case. There's no way that there's any room for a different explanation for this.